Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Super Ninja Austin here with episode 20, not 20, episode 32 to be exact, of the SNA podcast. And man, everything was up in high expectation on tonight's NXT. This is the NXT review part 5. And we're going to start off today with Ilya Dragunov against Wes Lee in a number one contenders match for Carmelo Hayes' NXT championship at No Mercy, which I believe I'll say next month. I believe, because then NXT had a pay-per-view this month. Oh no, it was. But yeah, we're gonna probably figure that out later on. But we had a match. It was really good. It was like if they were really fighting for the NXT championship, like if it was an NXT championship match, which we recap.
That's what I did. Because it's gonna be easy.
We're gonna talk about with Wes Lee getting lariated by Wesley, and then he kicked out with the 2.999, and then Ilya Dragunov tried to grab him behind him, try to go for a German suplex, but Wesley hits Ilya with an elbow strike, or right behind him with Ilya Dragunov. This is where he tried to go for the cardiac kick for the finisher, but Ilya Dragunov caught him, and then he spinned him around, and he tried to go for a spinning fireman's carry, but Wesley countered going to a DDT. Ilya Dragunov rolled out of the ring, looking like if he was the champion that's trying to get the advantage of rolling out the ring, so the challenger won't get the upper hand and capitalize and successfully get a 3. But anyways, this is where Wesley got back up. This is where he goes for a diving somersault senton right off the top of, even over Rita the ring post, right onto Ilya Dragunov into the corner, like in the corner right side, lower corner right side of. And then everybody was so shocked into the Capitol Wrestling Center. That's when they started chanting the holy S word, which at first they were allowing to say those words. And let me tell you, this is not going to be the only cuss word that's going to be involved with that comes out of the crowd's mouth into this NXT, this episode of NXT for spoiler alerts, of course. Yeah, but we're going to talk about that in the next segment. But we're going to go back to talking more about this match. Fans were chanting holy shit, but at first they were allowing a few chants without uncensored until they finally blocked it off and censored it off. This is where Ilya Dragunov counters, intercepts, and hit him with a right hand to Wesley's jaw when he was up in the top rope. This is where Ilya Dragunov goes for a suplex right off the top rope, which he could have made it into a signature move. It was so impactful. This is where he hits him with his finishing move, which was that running forearm strike right onto the ground. It hit Wesley face first, and I believe that gave him the 1 and the 2. And then it looks like it was about to get him a 3, which I thought this was going to be a 3 already. But no, this is when he hits a 999. Yeah, it counts out, or kicks out of the 2.999 count. And yeah, let me tell you, the main and the opener in the main event was more than enough being deserving into this spot in the match card of tonight's show, and I hope NXT will be continue being like this soon forward, and they get more views and ratings and profit for them being the C show of WWE, because NXT's been a very interesting show. And it's like watching, if you're watching a SmackDown or an episode of Raw or SmackDown, and you're probably gonna understand why when I talk about the main event, which that's gonna be later on to this video. But yeah, Ilya Dragunov was very shocked that Wesley kicked out, because most wrestlers that he faced before never kicked out of that striking forearm when his opponents are grounded right onto the ground, right onto the canvas, of course. This is where Ilya Dragunov gets ready to hit him with the torpedo headbutt. But this is where Wesley hits him with a knee strike with a counter. This is where Ilya Dragunov was amazingly still up. This is where but somehow he got back into his consciousness. He hits him with that diving elbow or forearm strike, I should say. Right, except this time it was in the back of Wesley's head, and it got him the 1, 2, 3. I was like, wow, that was very impressive. Like even though the second time I thought he probably would kick out because it looked like in a way that it could be a kick out because it looked like it was during the middle of the match, but impressively and amazingly that Ilya Dragunov put him away with that strike finally, but it was in the back of his head, like without Wesley expecting it to be. And we're going to talk about more about what's going to happen in Wesley's future. We're going to see in the foreseeable future into NXT and WWE. But Carmelo Hayes came out there. I guess he kind of congratulated him, but in a way that he said that he's gonna beat him once again, and that he can and he will. By saying, let's see right here. He's like, yeah, you may have won, but this may not be over, but it's gonna end when I successfully retain. That's when they started throwing words at each other. And that's when fans start chanting Melo, because Melo is the megastar into the NXT brand. And let me tell you, when he gets in the main roster, he's going to thrive. Like, whether if he's in the mid-card or in the main event like he is on NXT, he's gonna copy off this pace into the main roster. Whether if he's on Raw or SmackDown, he's going to make either the Intercontinental, like I said before, he's going to make the Intercontinental Champion or the United States Championship be like the A champion like he did with the North American title, and he's gonna be the number one main event megastar with whatever heavyweight championship, whether it be the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship. But that's like in a year or two from now, like when he's on his way to becoming the big time superstar in the main roster. But now he's killing it into the NXT brand, and everybody's saying that. Yeah, everybody's admitting it as well. Like even Grayson Watter's like, yeah, like he never missed. Like he's meaning on his words, yeah. And then that's when they hype up the main event match, which I'm glad they did make this the main event. And I predicted this, and I even said I hope that WWE made this match the main event, and then that is the NXT Women's Championship. This is where Tiffany Stratton was heading into the building with the strap. But I was like, there's two things that I predicted that are going to be right. And yes, sir, that was a spoiler alert. But y'all going to see exactly what I mean by that. But we're going to move on to this next segment, which is with the commentators, Booker T and Vic Joseph, talking about what happened, what Braun Breaker's, what actions Braun Breaker did with Von Wagner when he mercilessly nearly ended his career by hitting his head right into the symbol of the steel steps, sandwiching his head into the process, into a bloody skull-cracking process. Yeah, because like you said, like it's been noted that Braun Breaker accidentally hit his head, even though it said it wasn't that bad, but it was bad for enough his skull to crack and then his head started to bleed. But yeah, they showed a recap of it, but this time they showed the whole footage of it. And yeah, it looked very hard to watch. Like the way they set it all up, the way they set up the whole spot, basically, like where Braun Breaker sandwiched poor Von Wagner's head. And then this is what made Shawn Michaels so mad. I'm not sure. Like, it made me think, like, is this all part of the skit, or is he legitimately pissed at Braun Breaker for being unprofessional? But yeah, he was like, get out of here. And this is when the paramedics like, yeah, he's bleeding through his ear. But I wonder if he's really injured badly, or this could be mostly part of the script, and then some of it is like very bad medically, but we're gonna figure that out in the future. I hope Von Wagner's doing okay, and I hope and pray that he has a full, fast, speedy recovery from that. But yeah, it's been noted from Vic Joseph. And before I say the reports, that he also apologized to the NXT and WWE universe, aka fans, that he apologized for using the terms SOB to Braun Breaker when he did that gruesome action and I'll say action, and another word for action, I'll say. I'm trying to think of the correct word to describe what he did to Von Wagner. Actions and in his intentions, his evil intentions, like of trying to end Von Wagner's career. And this is where Baron Corbin came out. But before I get to that, he showed the footage like where they stretchered him out of there, took him to the local medical facility, and then there's tweets like, "What just happened? Like, is Braun okay?" And there's plenty of support from Von Wagner. Glad to hear that from supporters, but it didn't seem so good like at the time, like with Von Wagner getting hit in the head 7 days ago with the Symbol to Steel Steps. Regardless, like for being a wrestler, it's all part of the job. But at the end of the day, it's very risky, like football. But let's see what it was reported at, because he had some brain brain issues and some skull what's that skull issues, like separated skull and not disability, but I would say like a brain. What's that word? I would say a brain. Not trauma either. I'll say like some brain issues, like with some. I'll say maybe a disability, but I'll say like a brain. I have some very brain health, very bad health on his brain, basically, like from the separated skull. But Vic Joseph said like this. Let's see right here. It's been reported by Vic Joseph that he said he has an update on Von Wagner that following the events of last week, like he's diagnosed with a minor skull fracture. That's what it was. That's what it is. It's a minor skull fracture, and I hope he legitimately recovers from this and never be into this predicament ever again, because no wrestler deserves to be in this position of having their careers end with a very permanent injury. And let's hope it's not permanent, and this could be just a big health, like a big injury scare that probably, but that he's going to recover from, like, and overcome, like he did when he was growing up, when he had this issue, like, because in the past, like but it's also been noted that he's been moving slightly since after what happened, like when they gave him the medical treatment that he needed. Yeah. And however, to his history, due to his history, to his brain and his skull, like it determines on what the status of his career is going to end up like. He could have his career can be on borrowed time. He can be cleared from this. Like, it's unpredictable. It depends on what's going to happen what's gonna happen next into his what's gonna happen next into the statuses of his health and his health results basically. But let's hope let's hope it's better than it's expected to be. Like it could be career ending, which I hope that's not the case. But yeah, I hope for a speedy and fast recovery for Von Wagner, because yeah, this is a very tragical situation at this point. Yeah. But this is when Baron Corbin came out. This is where he looked like that. This looked like that he looked like he was about to break character and say a few things and be serious about Von Wagner's health and then you have a good goodwill wishes on him. But that it didn't seem like it lasts long. But we're gonna get that into there where Baron Corbin, because the promo's like. And he has a new theme song, which is very similar to like when he was the Lone Wolf, but it was like, what was called, like burning the ship or beating the ship. That's what the lines of is. But yeah, let me know what it is specifically down in the comments below. But he was telling the fans that he was sitting with. He was sitting right next to into the corner with Vic Joseph and Booker T into commentary and witnessed a vicious attack from Braun Breaker, what he did to Wagner on that Zach Steele step, and they cut the feed off the Black Ops because it was too horrible to watch for those who was watching at home. And then he's like, Braun Breaker Braun Breaker crushed his Von Wagner's skull in the steel stairs. Like he crushed and sandwiched his skull open. Like, and then that's when he said, "Oh man, I like Von Wagner. I don't stand him. I'm gonna let y'all know that." But and he's like, "But Von Wagner and the entire story about his head and his skull in general." And his brain surgeries from ever since when he was a small child, like that was very, very real. And then he's like, Braun knew that, and he took advantage of that. And he's like, look, I might not be no doctor, but I can assure you that Von Wagner's injury could lead to his career ending sooner than he expected it to be. And he'll never be the same way ever again. And I'll be like, even though that might have been legitimate, and then that injury could have been the worst that we could possibly ever seen from a wrestler in recent time. Like, but I don't think. How do you know if it can end his career? I'll say it'll be one thing if you say it may, because it may. Like, it's unpredictable at this point, regardless. Like, we don't know if it, but you just hope for the better and think that and hope that that's not the case, and he can wrestle again. And he can get back in the square circle as soon as he's clear enough to compete. Like Corbin, like I know you're a heel and all, but you don't really have to think negative about someone's health career for real. But Braun Breaker came out. This is when he started laughing. And he's like, all right, Braun, that's far enough. It looks like it's about to be like he's gonna tell him straight up like what he did was wrong. Like, and this is the most unusual attitude that I would probably have seen out of Baron Corbin, even for him. Yeah. Even for Baron Corbin. But yeah, he was like, what you did last week was very awesome. I'm like, what? And he just said, like, I know, like, it's one thing to stick to your character and your gimmick as a heel, but what if Von Wagner wasn't so lucky from that gruesome and horrifying spot from Braun Breaker sandwiching his head right to assemble the steel steps? Like you shouldn't be playing like that. Like, that was even though most of it's all part of the script and it's part of the show, but still, like, you shouldn't be playing like this. Like, you're gonna get so much criticism online, like on Twitter. Even though you can let go on one ear and out the other, but it's not gonna look good in general with genuinely into into the reputation of WWE. But that's my opinion. What y'all think? You wrestling internet guys think? Like, I may be wrong, but if I am, correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe that's what it's going to be. Like in the next, at least in the next day, if not an hour after watching the show. But yeah, that's for y'all to decide on what y'all think about what I'm assuming. Like what people would do on Twitter and Instagram and even making videos on YouTube. Like they're gonna give their personal opinions by what should be doing, like what should be the boundaries of heel and face gimmicks. But yeah, he said, but anyways, he was like, last week what you did, he was like, it was like he was about to say it was the most horrible thing that this was way out of line. But he said this was, and that's when. But before that, the fans also said you got tabled, the Braun Breaker. You got tabled, and he was like, and then Baron Corbin was laughing with him, and he was like, awesome, yeah, I know, right? That's when Braun Breaker was like, yeah, woo, I know, right? Like that was very awesome. Like you raised it above, and then Baron Corbin like when you raised it above, I thought that like maybe he's not gonna do. I don't know he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. I know. Like so I had a little doubt, but at the same time, I was thinking like you might have done it. Like you were so close, and then Braun Breaker's like yeah. And you know, do it. He's not gonna do. And then like, when you did, I was like, he really did it. Oh my God, he just did it. It is, and that was completely amazing. And that's when Braun Breaker's like, yeah. And that was absolutely right. That was so cool, right? And he was like, and that's when Braun Breaker called. He was like, yeah, that was cool, you idiot. And I was like, wow, like it looked like we were about to have some kind of a hilarious alliance between first thing I thought that was going to be a hilarious alliance between the Lone Wolf and the former NXT champion and the son of the dog face, like of having some kind of a hilarious alliance. But what I didn't know, there's going to be some altercations that they have in their own respective perspectives about one another. And Braun Breaker's, and he was like, well, I did last week, I didn't did it for your approval. Like, that's what you think I did? What do you think this is? I did what I did because Von Wagner put me through a table. So I ended his career by cracking his skull open. I'm like, wow, like you're the most, I would say you're the most merciless and unforgiving heel in all of professional wrestling right now, even over MJF and Roman Reigns and Dominic Mysterio right now. For him doing that last week, I'll say he is living up to his nickname or his catchphrase, I should say. It's not a nickname, more of a catchphrase on his shirt that says "meaner than evil." Like that was literally meaner than evil what he just did to Von Wagner. That was way worse. That was very worse. And evil was supposed to be the most worst term into all of the definition words into the dictionary. But what Braun Breaker did was very meaner than wicked or evil combined. Yeah. Like at least in his character, of course. But yeah. This is when he was black and he was laughing. And then this is when Baron Corbin called him Junior. Look here, Junior. Like I appreciate what you did, but afraid you get your hands dirty. Like that will take you far in this business. But I was coming out here before you were even signed to this business. I ended a legendary Olympic gold medalist's career at WrestleMania, and I ended another Olympic gold medalist. It was a new upcoming Olympic gold medalist wrestler into this company before it even into his career before it even started. And I even beat Roman Reigns before he was about to say he beat Roman. It was the last one before the Usos beat him in their tag match. But he said he beat him back like 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago, back at TLC 2019. Then this is when Braun Breaker interrupted him. He was like, "Oh, nobody will care about all your achievements and blah blah blah." Let's see. Like you ended Von Wagner's career. Wow. Congratulations on that. That's what he said. Like, oh yeah, that's what he said. Like he said, why won't you try to end a legendary Olympic gold medalist career and a rookie Olympic gold medalist's career, like before it even started or began, and then we're even in the beat Roman Reigns' unbeatable streak as being unbeatable. He interrupted. He's like, look, I'm trying to tell you that there's levels that I went past that, and I've been on a higher than you ever. You should earn my respect. Instead, you spat on it, and then promised me, I don't give a damn about your respect. I don't want a tray you. You can't be coming in here like that.
He needs to pull up.
He nearly came in the room butt naked.
I know, but he needs to pull up.
Oh, bother. You better keep this on for a while.
I'm about to feed you.
Make sure you don't do that again, Mom.
Oh.
Because he nearly did it right on the camera. I had to block his little thing.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
Before you get back on there.
Okay.
No, people bitching about food. And I just emailed myself. I'm done. I want a Menards just what's it called me. They emailed me that and they for an interview. Okay. No, bro, you make it. I'm done. I'm done.
But anyways, this is where Braun Breaker challenged him into at No Mercy. He said he challenged him at No Mercy, and he's gonna end up just like Von Wagner. When he sandwiched his steel steps right into. He's gonna sandwich the steel steps right into his head. Like it's already bad enough you try to do another attempted murder. He's like, so call your family, call your friends, like because you're gonna leave the building that night the same way Von Wagner did last week. Like Von Wagner last, and then this one Baron Corbin was like, first of all, I'm not Von Wagner. Number one, I'm not Von. And then this is when he slapped the absolute taste out of Braun Breaker's mouth into bitter, bland taste buds. And then this is when Braun Breaker probably felt that like if it was Gunther's chops again. And this is when Braun Breaker went out and slapped him right back. And then this is when it started going to a shove war, and they nearly got into a brawling altercation themselves. When at first the fans said you effed up, and at first WWE did not censor it out. They literally let them say the you F word. They say you not F word, you effed up. They used the F bomb on NXT, which is the first time I heard fans say that. And I bet that's gonna be all over the wrestling news tomorrow on YouTube. Which I would say that's the whole first time. Like I would say that's very insane. Like that's very insane from the NXT universe. Like that's very insane from the NXT universe that. And that's for that's one thing for them to say the S word. I'll expect that, but I want to go as far as to anybody say the F bomb other than Andre Chase. But I'll expect this from SmackDown or Raw. But I was like, it's gonna be very new. Like this is the first time we heard someone say the F until they finally did censor it out. Like, yeah, you effed up, you effed up. This is when the security came out. They finally started breaking things up before anything started getting worse, like the Von Wagner incident between Braun and Von Wagner. And then this is where we have Miles Bourne and Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs doing pull-ups before they get ready for their tag match against Charlie Dempsey, Drew Gulak, and Damon Kemp. I'm calling Damon Kemp Matt Kemp, but I meant Damon Kemp. But my apologies. But anyways, we do have this match. Let's see right here. Because they brawled in the ring for a while. It was like a typical six-man tag match, like with Brooks Jensen, Josh Briggs I think Brooks Jensen tagged in Josh Briggs to do a double team elbow drop onto Damon Kemp. Charlie Dempsey tried to get involved. He booted him right in the face and stomped on him. And then Josh Briggs also tossed Drew Gulak like a piece of paper along with Dempsey. This is when they started bringing the brawl on the outside. This is where Brooks Jensen started knife edge chopping. What's his name? Damon Kemp. This is where he started clotheslining him back and forth. And then that's when he tagged in Drew Gulak. And he started hitting headlocks, trying to hit him with right hand. This is where he tagged Drew Gulak's henchman, Charlie Dempsey, a.k.a. William Regal's son, tagged himself in the match. He hit him with a spot out of the ring. This is where Miles Bourne hit him with a swinging neck breaker from behind. And then this is where he forearms him. Charlie Dempsey forearms Miles. What's his name? Miles Bourne, and government suplexed him. This is when Damon Kemp and Brooks Jensen came in. They're throwing fists at each other. This is where Brooks Jensen Irish whips Damon Kemp. This is where Damon Kemp knee busted him in the counter. This is where he Irish whips him, and then Brooks Jensen hit him with a spinning wheel kick. This is where Drew Gulak came in and came for the stay. This is where Josh Briggs and Miles Bourne came in and started fighting off, which I believe, which was Drew Gulak and Damon Kemp, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak. And then this is where what's his name? Also, Miles Bourne kind of saved Fallon Henley's life with what's his name coming out of nowhere, Brooks Jensen. He swing her to the side, and so she won't get damagedly hurt. This is where Brooks Jensen threw Damon Kemp back in the ring. This is where he comes in there, but Miles Bourne grabbed his leg, and surprisingly, he turned on him before he can be known as an alliance with the tag team group. In one night, like less than one night, he turns on them with him hitting him right through the ring post, throws him back in the ring. This is where Damon Kemp hits his move for the 1-2-3, and they celebrated with Miles Bourne alongside. And then it looks like we're gonna have this quartet now, like with Miles Bourne bamboozling Fallon Henley for having him fall for his trap of feeling sorry and pity for him, of being tortured and abused by Dempsey, Kemp, and Gulak. And it looks like we're going to see some kind of 8-man tag feud with this, where Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs finding guys to join them. But what y'all think about this? About what's gonna But what y'all think what's going to happen on to this programming? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We got Chase U now. With Andre Chase telling his students to make sure to pay attention and study onto Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton's match, because there's going to be some kind of a school assignment for the next class. Yeah, for the next class after watching the main event and probably analyzing on how probably what Becky Lynch or Tiffany Stratton's what they do to what they're gonna do to try to win the match. But we're gonna see that in the main event. This is where Andre Chase pulls him to the side when all the students left and asks what's up with what's her name, Thea Hale lately, because she's in contact with Duke Hudson, and then Duke Hudson was telling about the information of she have because she was sharing because she contact like through contacts, like in the contact, and it showed her where her location is until she turned off her location, and they kind of lost her. And Duke Hudson saw this on his phone, and that's when Andre Chase was stressing even more about the matter, because he wants his number one student back next. I'll say his other number one student, because I believe Duke Hudson is his other number one student. And the only thing I don't get that's kind of random at this time, for me to ask this or to say this right now, I'll say because I'm not asking the curious. I'm saying like, what has my answer has me wondering, like, I'll say maybe it is a question, because like, why is he holding up that trophy of being the best student in the class? What is up with that? Like, and it's probably all part of WWE's fictional university, because Andre Chase is the professor, but he's also a wrestler. This is all part of the wrestling shtick. Yeah. Stick. But I would say, like, what's up with him carrying up that trophy? Like, if that's the Heritage Cup trophy. But yeah, it's whatever. I believe it's all part of the shtick, and they should actually do more with this guy, because he's being a little too underutilized. Like, if it hadn't been for being all part of the Chase U, all part of the Chase U persona, with being Andre Chase's number one student and the teacher's pet, basically, tag team, a teacher's pet tag team. I'm not sure what WWE would do with this guy. Like, he has so much talent and potential into his stay in WWE. But let's hope WWE recognize this and push this guy even more further, and even get the resemblation. He has the resemblation of Wade Barrett, which everybody says, and he could be a Wade Barrett that finally gets his moment. But let's hope Wade Barrett does get his moment if he ever steps back in the ring. Let's hope so. But that's story for another day. But anyway, this is where Thea Hale turns off her location. This is where JC Jane came, asked, like, right in front of her, saying, "Are you doing okay?" And then this is where Thea Hale confirms that yes, she's doing fine, and then she couldn't help but notice that there was two guys that were checking her and Thea out, and then this is when Thea nearly shrugged it out and said, like, yeah, like, that's guys, like, they just check us out, like, either way, like, there's not much suspicion about that. And then this is when JC James like, yeah, but they're more. It's like they're onto us. It's like they're onto us about something. It's like they're about to talk to us. And then this is when Thea Hale's like, oh, I hope not. And then this is when JC James started counting down from 5 to 1, like 5, 4, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is when these two guys came in. It was like, how's your guys' weekend? And he's like, and then they both said, oh, it was good. And then she was like, and he was like, what are you doing right now? They were asking curiously. This is when Thea's like, Like it was my birthday, and not Thea, what's her name? JC. This is where JC Jane said, this is where she said, like, JC Jane decided to nicely take me out for tonight. And then this is when these random guys started to play bully mode because they started teasing Thea Hale, saying, ain't it a little past your bedtime? Because for her considering being 20 years old. Like, but even for being 20 years old, it's not like she's a teenager anymore, like, let alone being underage. Like, that would be a different story if it was way past her bedtime. That would make sense. But it don't make any sense when she's over the age. Like, she may not be overage entirely. She's not exactly 21. But she's still over the age that she don't even need to have a curfew anymore because she's simply an adult now. And then this is when they also poke fun, saying, like, you also had permission. You also had to ask permission from Mr. Chase, and then started chuckling even more, laughing and snickering and laughing. And he's like, I'm not sure if you little girls are supposed to be out here tonight. And then this is when JC Jane starts sarcastically and mockingly laugh with him, like, ah, ha, 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 ha. And then she's like, don't talk to her like that. And she slapped the absolute shit. Like, she slapped the absolute shit out of this guy, which she probably deserves that because, like, no woman should be talked to like that. Like, it doesn't matter. She's still a young woman, but she's a young adult. Like, she shouldn't be being controlled like she's still a 16-year-old teenager that's a bratty. Like, that's a bratty, spoiled teenager. Yeah. And then this is where Thea Hale came in and she told the other bully, she was like, I am a grown-ass woman. Like, I don't need a permission. I don't need a permission from an adult. And she knuckled sandwiched this guy right into the jaw and probably the forehead too. That probably had him knock the clock out for another hour, I probably would say. And then this is where she grabbed the other bully and hit him with the Kimura lock, the same one that she made Tiffany Stratton tap out, even though the referee wasn't looking. And also JC Jane, which the referee was looking when she made JC Jane tap out, and she also kicked him where it hurts the most. And then they both started running like little 10-year-olds themselves. Like, yeah. And then this is where what's her name, JC Jane, was impressed. She was like, "Well, I'm impressed. Like, good moves, good moves, young lady." Like, and she was like, "Yeah, like it's nothing. We're just gonna go shopping." And then this is where we have Dana Brooke taking on Lyra Valkyria, which I would say, what is up with Dana Brooke lately? Like, I know, even though the fans were being so absolutely critical and judgmental towards her, even though she's not doing much on NXT, but that doesn't mean you criticize her. Like, if anybody should be criticizing, it's WWE's booking of her. But I would say you shouldn't be criticizing at all. But you should be blaming on who's not booking her correctly and not properly booking her like they should be doing, because despite Dana Brooke not looking like a main eventer at this time, she still looks like a hard worker that will take any scheduled position, whether if it's in the opener or mid-card or main event, in order to get some TV time in WWE. And yeah, she is getting some TV time, but it's not like they should book her. Like, I don't know what's the best way to describe the way they should book her. Like, I'm not trying to tell find something that's going to be something that make the fans watch and make them want to watch more of it from Dana Brooke. Well, we're going to get to the point. We're going to talk about what went down. With Lyra Valkyria, hit moves like hit twist her arm, and then I'm gonna get to the point of it. with Dana Brooke Irish whipping Lyra Valkyria right into the corner of Tina the Turnbuckle. This is where Lyra Valkyria moved out of the way, try to go for it, try to go for the cartwheel back, that back crossbody, but she moved out of the way, hit her with a spinning kick. This is where she hits her with the winged eagle, hit her with the winged eagle splash, which it got her to 1, 2, 3, and I would say Booker T has a point on that about the fans turning on Dana Brooke, just like what they did with Braun Breaker. Like, even though he was not in a lot of proper matches or proper matches that would get him over, but he still was a great athlete and a talented one, to be exact. And then this is where this is where Collie Jordan came in and checked on Dana Brooke and see if she was okay. This is where Lyra Valkyria tried to show some sportswomanship to the former 24/7 champion. This is where at first she was so hesitating, but Collie Jordan convinced her to shake her hand. When she finally did, this is where she turned her back. This is where Dana Brooke nearly attacked her from behind and nearly went heel mode on to Lyra. And then this is where luckily Collie Jordan came in and held her back, making sure she doesn't attack her and turn heel. Like, which we probably would have saw a full-fledged heel turn into Dana Brooke tonight. And then we'll probably see this won't be the last match that they won't encounter into this feud, into the white and yellow brand show in WWE. And then this is where they advertised the women's breakout tournament. And I was like, yeah, that's great that they're having the women's breakout tournament. But what about the men's? Like, we haven't seen a men's NXT breakout tournament since 2021. Yeah. Like, I believe they should do a men's one along with the women's. Like, do like NXT, not NXT, AEW, like what they did with the Owen Hart tournament. They have the tournament for the men's and they have the tournament for the women. And I believe that they should do that for this year's too. And then whoever wins the tournament, they earn themselves an opportunity for a championship of their choosing. Well, for the women's sake, at this point, it's going to be only for the women's championship, which that's very unfortunate because it got so much potential with more championship, like including with the women's tag team championship. They had so much potential until WWE decided to unify them with the main roster women's tag team championship, which I say that was the most dumbest decisions that WWE could have possibly ever made. But let's move on to the next slide. We got Mackenzie Mitchell interviewing Eddie Thorpe about Dijak, about how he's been how fired up, how he had to have a chance to cool down from him. He was like, I never met nobody like a snake as much as Dijak is. First thing he attacked me doing wing post, and I've been wrapped around his fist. But he can't impact me when I'm trying to do something. And he said, I'm not gonna let this go, and I'm not letting this gonna bring me down from what I want to achieve into this company. And then this is where Dijak came in, and he's like, and this is where you go where you eat the wasp, right? Like, and then he said, he's like, with two strengths of something. Like, let me hear that again. He's like, he came out looking for, he's like, I'm looking for, and this is where you eat the wasp, right? Which is the field where I believe Eddie Thorpe roam at and do his little indigenous rituals in there. Yeah, rituals. And he's like, you realize you dropped too straight, and then with your rituals, fairy tale, what doesn't even work in the first place. Hey, come on, Eddie Thorpe, you need to engage your viciousness in your wild side, because right now I'm marking your territory. And that's when he started whipping the tree, which I believe that's where Eddie Thorpe hangs around at. Which I'm not sure if it's doing anything, let alone any damages, I should say, because even for hitting that tree, it looks like he barely even hitting them wood chips and those mini tree barks on that tree. And I'll say if this is a challenge against Eddie Thorpe for NXT's No Mercy, which I believe it's at the end of this month probably. But yeah, like I believe it's a challenge, which I believe Eddie Thorpe is going to soonly accept, probably as soon as 7 days from now. And we're going to see this match, and I hope Eddie Thorpe wins, even though Dijak's been lacking wins into premium live events ever since losing to the likes of what's his name to Wes Lee. He's been lacking wins in premium live events, but this is more putting over Eddie Thorpe at this moment. So, but the thing is, we don't want to see either of these men be buried into their own respective. But what do y'all think about this program? Y'all programming with one and the other. Y'all let me know down in the comments below, and then we're gonna. This is where we had Tyler Bate came out, and he was facing Axiom, which I would say this was a very interesting match. It looked like a match that you would expect to see in NXT, and I'm gonna try to recall what happened exactly specifically with the recap, like with Axiom and Tyler Bate going back and forth, hitting blows and then Axiom drop kicking him right on the outside. Axiom trying to go for some springboard diving maneuver, which he went up over the top rope. He spins around and dipped into the top rope into a springboard position into a moonsault, which Vic Joseph was very amazed and shocked. He was like, "Well, oh my God!" Which I believe most of the times commentators don't expect wrestling spots onto the broadcast, but he wasn't expecting this because he was extremely shocked because he gave the oh my gosh reaction while looking at like the action move, and then even Booker T was absolutely shocked too, saying, "Oh, good God! Like, did he just really do that?" And Vic Joseph was like, "Yeah, like he needs to win this because it was a draw when he faced Butch last Tuesday. Like he needs to get a win in order to stay into the tournament. And here tonight, I guess I have to." And then what had my eye and had me start cracking up the most, I was like, this is the most goofiest wrestling of the night. Like with Noam Dar, Noam Dar and the rest of the metaphor with what's her name? Jamilka Jackson and Lash Legend and Ora Menza. That's what their names are. But yeah, like I understand why nobody's not talking about these four guys or these four individuals is in this faction. No one's not talking about NXT with these guys because they are so entertaining and so hilarious. You would think they're on the main roster already because they're given some of that memorable, entertaining edge. Like if you know what I mean, and no, I don't mean Adam Copeland, and yes, I mean a shout out. And that was a shout out to Simon Miller and the rest of the What Culture crew. And I saw the purple and gold, which is a reminder of WrestleMania, the first ever WrestleMania, and possibly the Judgment Day, which I love the new design of the What Culture logo. By the way, like hopefully y'all get more better and better into y'all's YouTube content and y'all's channel in general. By the way, but anyway, back to NXT. Like they were dressed. The metaphor was dressed up as the Indiana Jones kind of cosplay outfits. I was like first it was that Frozen kind of cosplaying outfits. Now it's Indiana Jones. Like, what's next? Like, I don't know. Like, possibly Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess we'll find that out next. We'll find that out next week. Like, I might have given an idea. That probably gave him the metaphor an idea whether it be in that or Guardians of the not Guardians of the Mandalorian probably like or any Star Wars kind of cosplaying. Yeah, I'm probably gonna give them ideas on here on the SNA podcast if they're watching this on YouTube right now. But anyways, this was back to the match. This is where Axiom puts Tyler Bate back in the ring. He goes up to the top rope. He was getting ready to do a top rope crossbody, which he successfully does. And then this is where he goes for a crucifix. Dang it, I messed up something on my recap. Dang it. Hang on. Let me correct this mistake. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, the metaphor that when they're around, like with them being in ringside for the past couple weeks, from seeing who's gonna face the Scottish Supernova at No Mercy, they're gonna No Mercy, like he's gonna face them and defend his face them and then defend his NXT Heritage Cup trophy. But yeah, I think they should not stop with these cosplaying, like, because they looking like they're in the main roster. They're not making it. It made the whole match more or less dull. Yeah, it was like with them being around there, it was never a dull moment. If any, you would expect them to supposed to be being the most obnoxious heel faction ever. But I would say I gotta admit they are very entertaining. Even though I'm not the biggest Metaphor fan, but I would say they're entertaining me every single week with that kind of skit. Even though I think Lash Legends will want to be Bianca Belair, even though some of y'all say how that could be the case because she don't have her gimmick. But I'll say for the fact that she has somewhat of a long ponytail, but anyways, but that's the story for another day. But I am gonna talk about finish. I'm talking about more about NXT and be more of a professional, like, and no disrespects and insults here. Like, this is a very professional channel. We try to understand everybody's perspectives and be respectful for those who's watching and for those that I'm talking about. Like, because otherwise, why am I watching if I have any hatred about anybody on NXT? But anyway, this is where Axiom goes for a Hurricane Rana. This is where Tyler Bate goes for the most devastating move in all sports entertainment. Reverse, turn into go for a Tyler driver. This is where Axiom flips out of it and hits a Hurricane Rana. This is where Tyler Bate goes for a rebound clothesline, goes right straight up and hits him with a clothesline, which has successfully made him do the 360. This is where Tyler Bate finally hits him with the Tyler driver with the 1, 2, 3, and he finally gets a win. Now he's 1-1, which that states that he's right up where Butch is. Yeah, which I believe he's gonna face Butch next week, and then Axiom against Charlie Dempsey in the next round. Which that could be either NXT Level Up or even next week's NXT. And it says right here, it's not going to be Butch. It's going to be Tyler Bate's going to face Charlie Dempsey right on in the Peacock exclusive show, NXT's Peacock's exclusive show. What's it called? NXT Level Up. That's what it was. Yeah. And I believe Butch will take on Axiom again, or no? It will, or we're gonna, or whatever it is. It's kind of confused. The scrambling of the invitational tournament. But this is where Butch got an interview backstage with other guys watching that tournament with Tyler Bate and Axiom. This is where the reporters start asking, "What's your reaction? Is we're gonna face a longtime rival, Tyler?" And then this is where Butch said, like, everybody knows that me and Tyler go way back in our early indie days, including like, and then the finals of especially and also for the NXT UK championship tournament, like what made us famous into this brand. And then in 2017 at Takeover Chicago, we even had a tryout match together in number one forever. And then my first match at the age of 15 years old. But I'm not here to reminisce an old friend. Like I went back. I came back to NXT to prove I'm still the baddest man of all of WWE, and nobody's not gonna the bruiser in me more than you, Tyler. So maybe the best man, me. You're gonna let me know that next week is gonna be fight night, like you would say, like his usual catchphrase. This is where they show Tiffany Stratton crunching and getting ready, crunching on the ropes of getting prepared for her main event match against Becky Lynch, which we're going to talk about that soon enough after this tag match with the Creed brothers taking on, let's see, Creed brothers taking on, But before we had the match, we have this is where we had the most oddest funeral in professional wrestling. And that's right, because we had Joe Gacy and Ava Raine having a funeral for their Schisms tree because it's somehow rotten and shriveled up, which I don't know. It's a guess. Anybody's better guess than mine. And he was like, no one's not realizing that at the light of the day that our tree is dying. That's what he told Ava. And this is what Ava's like everybody knows that it should be. That's what did Ava said. He's like, yeah, like that's what he said. It's very honesty of your loyalty, but it's clear as day that our schism streak is dying. Is it 4 roots? And he was like, 4 roots may have been turned, but that shouldn't be an issue. No, like a 3 is rotten. A 3 root, like it's wither away, and now we stand all alone in this schism streak. And he's like, well, we stand out like ever before, and this is when Joe Gacy took a grasp into the schisms tree. And I'm like, was this some kind of a memorial, some kind of a tribute memorial reference to the late great Bray Wyatt? Like, if it is, then I'll say that's understandable because that's showing some very cool condolences to his possibly his idol. Which I'm not sure if that's the case, but whoever knows about anything about this, y'all let me know down in the comments. It kind of confused me at one hit. But this is where we had Trick Williams came in. This is where Trick Williams was watching something on his iPad, which that could be anything. Let's see. Let's see. My apologies. My apologies, viewers. I'm just trying to see what's the issue on my little smaller device of where I get my source of of the recaps of tonight's NXT. It's starting to mess up. It says don't have no issues, but okay, finally I got it working. Or did I? For some reason I just cannot. There's something wrong with the looks like I'm gonna have to get my other ones out and then let these rest, I suppose. But yeah, this is where he's looking at some stuff. This is where he ran into his main man, Carmelo. Hey, there's some strange cats out there, and this is what Carmelo's like. Hey, wait. What are you saying, dog? Like, he's like, what is it? Be in the moment, yeah. He's like, I can wait. He's like, what do you mean by that? I know, bro. Come on. Like, yeah, I know. You know I got your back. Like, he was letting Trick that knows that he's letting him know he got his back, and he's like, we don't talk about Ilya Dragunov. What's he talking? And he was like, I have a proposition. Like, I have to think. And he was like, how about you put your fist out and then you hit up your boy? Like, it'll be just like the good old days when we celebrate. And then that's when Carmelo Hayes was like, I figured it. But listen, he's like, listen, like, if you want to do your own thing, like, I respect that. And I want you to do your own thing on your own. And then this is what Trick Williams, I said that, but I didn't mean it like that. Like outside the roster, like we are our own boys, and we gonna hang out like regardless. And he's like, yeah, like we all gonna be here for one another. Like, yeah, they're telling each other that. Where they made that known. This is when Wesley started taking stuff and started throwing it into the trash can, which was very unfortunate and sad for him, and packed up his luggage, like, which that's what made the commentators, including Vic Joseph, confused. Like, what is up with Wesley? Like, why is he packing stuff in a suitcase? Like, is he? But this is when we had Edris Enof, yeah, Edris Enof and Malik Blade taking on the Creed brothers. Whereas it looks like we could see a tease from Edris Enof, and hopefully I correctly pronounced that right with my enunciation. Hopefully, let's hope I did, but I definitely know the name Malik Blade. Like, that's easy to remember to pronounce it like that. This is where I saw Malik Blade started fighting like they deserve to be in the tag team division and say, hey, maybe they could turn heel and maybe they should, and they could benefit off this and they could become future NXT tag team champions. Maybe this is the wildest prediction I have ever predicted, like along with everything else that you could possibly name into this onto my SNA podcast video. But I think that they should do this. This would help them out with their momentum. That's where they hit him with a splash move, Majik, looking like his finishing move. Enoff knew he got Brutus Creed with the move. With the win, and this is when the Los Lotharios, the new improved Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo was watching on the top side on that stage part, that little stage audience part of the audience, like where the wrestlers started, where they usually watch, another place where the wrestlers watch to see their future opponents wrestle their weekly their scheduled opponent, I should say, their televised scheduled opponent. Like instead of going to sitting with the commentators, they sit or stand or sit right on top of that stage part of it. Well, that's where they were at. This is where the Creed brothers hit the double team maneuver. This where the Enoff kicked out of it. This is where Brutus Creed hit him with an Olympic slam and a moonsault press and a running senton for a 1-2, and then Malik Blade hit him with a leg drop. This is where Booker T's like, there you go, Bray. Like, you get back in the game. Like you're good. Something and caviar. I was like, what? And this is where we got the NXT Tag Team Champions, Tony D'Angelo and Chenny Stacks Lorenzo, watching this on TV on their backstage. This is where Brutus Creed, Irish whipped him right onto the corner, but he only got to the – but he leaped over the ropes and landed right onto the apron, and then he crossed body back in the out and not outside, the inside of the ring. This is where he tags in Idris Enoff, and then they – I'm trying to hit the tag team, which was a neck-breaking spine buster, looking similar to the Street Profits. Malik Blade knocked off what's his name off the apron. Julius Creed. Idris Enoff tried to pinfall him for the 1 and the 2, but a 2.999 second count. And then this is where we had an accidental attack from Idris Enoff. He tried to do this to bring down the former NXT, one half of the NXT tag champ, the little brother Creed. But it looks like it's making him more and more angrier. Well, at least in his kayfabe persona. But despite that, it's made him meaner and madder. Yeah. And because after that, when Enoff tried to run up to him sideways, he hit him with a pouncing shoulder tackle that looked like Keith Lee done it. Right? That's when Enoff tagging Malik Blade. This is where Brutus Creed tags in Julius Creed. He hits him with a belly-to-belly suplex to Blade. He hits with his tag partner Enoff, and then this is where that's why he did it again to Blade, and he also did it to, and then he hit him with a sideways spine buster to Enoff, and then this is where Malik Blade crossbody to Julius Creed, but he caught him into a power slam position. That's where he got tagged in by his brother, Brutus Creed, which he got him to a power bomb position, while Brutus hit him with the Brutus bomb while on top, and they got him to 1, they got him to 2, and they got him to 3, and they won the tag match, which they possibly earned themselves an NXT Tag Team Championship match, because that's where every NXT Tag Team started arguing about who deserves to be on the top spot. And like I said on the video, like on the last week's video, I would say if that's the case for Malik Blade and Idris Enoff, I think they should already got a tag team opportunity, and they never have ever had a tag team. Not that I remember. Like maybe they probably had some off screen, but I don't think if they even have that from have opportunities for the NXT Tag Champ on live events, like let alone like getting any championship opportunity of being championship go. Yeah, the Brutus and Julius Creed, the Creed brothers won the match. It looks like they're gonna head and try to earn themselves of becoming the tag team champions again. This is where Hank Walker and Tank came out of the team Hank and Tank, which I believe his name is Tank. What? Los Lotharios was saying, like, yeah, like, congratulations. Like, how about you face us and we show who's more deserving of getting the tag. And that's when team Hank and Tank, like, the team of Hank and Tank, and then that's when and then this is when Booker T's boys, these Spanish guys, like with dreadlocks, they came in and attacked them. I forget their names, but they're another tag team that you should be noticing too, like because they've been forced to be reckoned with, like from the last week, for the past weeks, I should say, with a plural. But yeah. But yeah, they started attacking the team of Hank Walker and his tag partner Tank. I forget his last name. Tank something. I forget. But I'm gonna find that out soon, very soon. But yeah, they all were basically in a brawl. Like it was like deja vu over again. And also they had Reggie on the side. I was like, I'm not sure if Reggie should be managing these guys or even teaming with these guys this new alliance, because I'm not sure what they have in common other than having dreadlocks and being talented performers from the streets. Like that's the only thing they have in common. But I'm not sure if he's a team besides other than that, for that simple fact. And that's when they started brawling in the ring. This is brawling on the outside. This is when the Creed brothers and Ivy Niles like shrugged their shoulders and their hands. They're like, well. Looks like we have some more competition ahead of us. But if they want a shot, they were looking like if they want a shot at being the number one contenders, like we're glad we will show that why we should regain our double straps. But this is where we clicked in and saw Becky Lynch going face to face with a fellow Irish women's superstar, which is into Lyra Valkyria's respective rights of her being a fellow Irish superstar along with Becky Lynch. That's when they started embracing. They hug each other. It's like, oh hey, how you doing? Like they're doing like look like a longtime best friend since like middle school or high school would do. Like they haven't seen them in forever. Like they embraced each other like that. And then this is when Lyra Valkyria asked Becky Lynch that she needs to win that women's title. The show Tiffany Stratton that your days is your days is the big time Bex is not only on the main roster but also into the developmental territory too. But yeah, we're gonna see more of that, and let me spoil you just a little bit. It's more higher than expectations. I'll say it's more higher than what you would expect it to happen. Yeah, it's more higher than even though it's probably what you expect, but you just need to watch until the very end to see what I'm talking about. But yeah, Becky Lynch said, "I'm gonna do my best to win this, and I'm gonna bring it home, and what a champion should be like." And then this is where they fist bumped each other. This is where we see. This is where they advertise for next week, or not next week. Well, up next, I mean, which is Nathan Fraser and Akira Tozawa. Not next week, coming up next. I meant to say, my apologies, but yeah, I'll be more quicker with this if there's nothing wrong with my little device here. Which is obviously my phone, showing me the results on what happened tonight and me to talk about. So always keep messing up. I'll probably be a half an hour done by now if it hadn't been for this. But yeah, and this is where we got to the backstage. Got into a backstage altercation with Carmelo Hayes and he's like, a way to go being creative for solving your championship. And Carmelo Hayes like, what? And then that's when Dominic Mysterio was like, yeah, I know I had guys like Mustafa Ali and Dragon Lee trying to see who try to put me in the corner, but I had them fight it out. And like you did with Wesley and then you made them fight it out. And how a way to go being the original. He's like, yeah, I know. Like I know. And this is when Carmelo Hayes fight out. He's like, listen, man, like, just like tell you something that you don't know nothing about. But last week, didn't you have last week with Dragon Lee? And one man who beat you? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about you just he basically told him like you just screwed the guy that beat you before, and you're afraid that you would possibly do that again, except with the championship being on the line. And he's like, let me talk about you, and it stuck with Ilya Dragunov and Cali. And he's like, oh. And he was like, at no mercy. And then we said, between me and Ilya, we're gonna see who's gonna walk out is the champion of their respective rights of being known as that title. And then, no pun intended, to be honest with you, Doc, you're not kind of like that. And then Dominic Mysterio started rubbing the North American Championship into Melo Hayes' face. He was like, you said this championship is the A championship. And he was like, yeah, like, right. Like, it's because I made it the A championship when I was holding the championship. And then that's when Dominic Mysterio also said, and now I am the A championship. And then Carmelo Hayes like, yeah, he's like, when I said when I was the A champ, I said it when it was totally different. Well, how you were describing it, which I would say, yeah, I agree, simply agree, because like he actually made the North American Championship look like a main event championship, and not like just the mid card title that's meaningless, like that's on the main roster. And you know what's cool? Like next week we could put that to the test and see if you're a dirty Dom. And he's like, I'm gonna talk to Mommy Rhea about that. And yeah, you don't talk to Mommy Rhea about that. Yeah. And it's been confirmed that we have Carmelo Hayes against Dirty Dominic Mysterio in a non-title champion versus champion match. The NXT champion and the North American champion. And this is where we got a backstage interview with what's her name? With Mackenzie Mitchell interviewing Becky Lynch. I forgot to add this on. She was welcoming her back to NXT. Becky was like, yeah, it's good to be back home to my old stomping ground. And he's like, every top accolade, like you won every championship except for the NXT Women's Championship. You had just win. Yeah, I sure can win that. And he's like, I'm saying all the time in NXT. Like, I was working harder than anybody else in here. And then just a little crumb, a little teeth. And I don't think that anybody here would be championship material. And everybody did not know. Like a decade ago, no one didn't think I was championship material. But here, back I am. I'm doing this after I had a most historical career in the main roster, even main event WrestleMania being Becky 2 Bill. But I look out here, I'm going to achieve a achievement that I'm going to achieve a goal that I had yet to do when I first came to this business. And no one's not going to be able to doubt me now. And I've been passionate to do. I was more successful. I'm more hungry. And I came as the man, ready to wreck those the rise and walk out and I'm gonna wreck Tiffany Stratton and becoming the new NXT Women's Champion. This is where Kiana James came in. She was like, and she was like, "Oh, I just came here because I want to say that I don't want you here, and you should go back to Monday Night Raw." And and she don't want her as champion, and she shows up, and she because she can send her back to Raw empty-handedly. I was like, "Look, Kiana, like as much as you probably don't like the man, you're not gonna get your night tonight." And I'm gonna say this straight up, like, and then if you want a shot at the championship, like, go ahead, like, face whoever's gonna be the champion. But we're gonna talk about that later on. But and then this is where Becky Lynch like, I'm taking as an advocate, like, will you be for me being my next opponent when I become the new NXT Women's Champion or challenger, I should say. There's gonna be a whole. It's going to be a whole lot darker and different. And I'm going to take it as an advocate of an ass whooping of your new NXT Women's Champion, Kiana. The man is coming around to NXT a whole lot more. And then she's definitely going to come for you. And that's when Kiana James starts shaking her head with that ugly frown of hers. This is where we're going to get to the. This is where I'm gonna get the short and sweet to the point about Akira Tozawa against Nathan Frazer. Which I would say it's very. But Akira Tozawa came in. They were doing technical maneuvers and kick-ups, and Nathan Frazer was doing some definitely doing kick-ups. And then this is where Akira Tozawa hit him with that kind of karate style, like I won't say exactly it is karate, but I'll say it was like karate, like kind of wrestling movesets. But Nathan Frazer, despite that, he started hitting him with headlocks. Akira Tozawa was hitting him with leg locks. And then I'm gonna, like I say, get short and sweet to the point. This is where Akira Tozawa tried to go for the most devastating move in all sports and surprise rule. This is where Nathan Frazer tried to apply a kick, but he grabbed him to spin him around. He tried to go for a step up into gear. He ducked, slammed, and then he ducked and he hit himself stomach and face first right into the canvas. He hit him with a German suplex. And then this is when Akira Tozawa hits him with a shining wizard kick. And then this is when Akira Tozawa looks glancing right to the Noam Dar and his Heritage Cup trophy. This is when Akira Tozawa goes up, trying to go for a senton, but instead he goes for a missile dropkick right into Nathan Frazer. This is where he runs up and go for a suicide dive right out from the outside. Made Nathan Frazer go flying in the air, probably like 5 feet in the air. Like, it was very unreal, like, when he did it. But it made Booker T started laughing of joy. I was like, really? Like, well, at least he's not getting more too enthusiastically excited as a homeless man in a hurricane. But that's another story for another day. This is where Akira Tozawa goes up in the top rope. This is when Nathan Frazer counters go up from the top and hit him with a suplex. But no, this is where Akira Tozawa counters him. He pushed, but he goes for a backflip, looking like Ricochet, maybe even making him jealous because Ricochet's not the only athletic guy that could be pushed and do a moonsault like that. And then if there's any wrestlers that I forgot that does a moonsault like that, but y'all let me know down in the comments. I'll say maybe Andrade, but he's on AEW now. If this was AEW, I would say Andrade El Idolo, of course. Like, why wouldn't I? But we got a suplex, and then this is where he hits him, and he hits him with a spinning, twisting neck breaker. It looks like his version of a twisted neck breaker version of Seth Rollins' a suplex and Falcon Arrow off the top rope. This is where he earns himself a victory, which Vic Joseph was randomly excited. I was like, yeah, if that was his finishing move, like, of course he's gonna win. And he definitely must have learned that from Seth Rollins in his wrestling school, because he hit him with a move. It looks very similar to Seth Rollins, and he spins him around with a twisting neck breaker position. It looked like Goldust's finishing move. He hit him with the 1, 2, 3, and it looks like he's going to move on to the next level with him getting another victory, with Nathan Fraser is going to be. It looks like he's going to face Joe Coffey probably next Tuesday, I believe. This is where they get interviewed, Gals. And he's like, you must have won this to face the next in the finals. Now, ever since we've been this, we've been beating every single individual in this tournament ever since the Invitational started. Like, we're doing so all our way. It's Nathan Fraser, and then I'm gonna slap him silly, and I'm gonna then I'm gonna hit him, and I'm gonna do everything I can, brutalize and show him that give me the respect I deserve, and I'm gonna move on and become the NXT Heritage Cup winner. And then this is where what's his name steps into the interview. What's his name? Duke Hudson. He was like, yeah, like I may not be good with numbers. I'm not a good with numbers kind of guy, but I believe that. If I beat you next week, it'll be a 3-way tie, and then it'll be the 3 of us. Like, so they'll hate the MVP of Duke Hudson all you want, but I'm gonna see you next week. I might as well add another. This boiler, Duke Hudson. This Duke Hudson, which I'll say, even though Duke Hudson is definitely not going to win the Heritage Cup trophy, but I mean, it will probably go together. It will probably go well with his MVP trophy that he earned from Chase U, and he can also add the Heritage Cup into his achievement accolade of being the trophy collector rather than a belt collector. He'll be like a total opposite NXT version of Kenny Omega. He'll be a trophy collector, but I don't think that's going to happen at this time, at least. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. This is where we saw. This is where Mustafa Ali got interviewed about his match against Dominic Mysterio at No Mercy. This is where Dragon Lee came in, and he was like, but what Dominic did was absolutely not fair, and we should do this all over again. And he was like, look, like, you're gonna earn yourself another opportunity for the North American title, but at the end of the night, I won, even though it was dishonestly, but I came out victorious, and I'm gonna be the one facing Dom. Like, I'm sorry, like, and then that's when he stormed out of there, and then left Dragon Lee standing there, like. And Dragon Lee was like, I'm not done with him. I'm not done with Ali. Like, there's still more to do. And then this is where the other interviewer tried to interview his devastating loss against Ilya Dragunov. And then Wesley didn't have much to say. He was a better man than me. And then it was plain simple. Like, he was a better man. And I just need to take a break from this and take a leave. I told myself, if I'm not gonna No Mercy, I'm just gonna go home. And then that's when his wife was there to meet him into the backstage area and into the back exit, and then they exit out of there. And it seems like this could be the end of Wesley's run in NXT. But on my opinion, I believe Wesley should win the NXT title, but that's probably like in the next year or so. But he could be like the third ever wrestler, which I found a mistake, because the only 2 Triple Crown winners is Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano, but they're no longer in NXT. For Johnny Gargano is been absent off of Raw lately, but he's known as the Raw Star, while Adam Cole moved on to AEW as the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion. So I would see him as the is the third ever Triple Crown winner, either him or Carmelo Hayes. With him being a former NXT Tag Team Champion and the North American Champion, and then Carmelo Hayes as the current NXT Champion and a former North American Champion. I would say either man should be third, and then the other one should be fourth ever winner. He's like, clear my locker out, and then he's like, let's go. And I believe, and he said he's done, like before he walked out of there with his wife. And I was like, does this mean that we're not gonna see him ever again, like in WWE, or is he gonna get moved up to the main roster? Because they did tease this when him and Dragon Lee was on SmackDown when they were in Orlando that one time, which I believe was during the draft. It was the draft season, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, it wasn't the draft. It was back in June. It was back in June when they were in Orlando on that taping on that SmackDown taping. But yeah. But what do y'all think? Do you think this could be the end of I'm not sure what's on Wesley's contract stats. I better take a look on that. But I know that he said he's done, which I probably think I'm probably sure that he's done with NXT, at least at this time. And he's going to move on to the main roster, whether if it being on Raw or SmackDown. But he could bring in some good. He could bring in some great matches with the likes of, like, what if he's faced like with the likes of Gunther or Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, or who else? Like, name a mid-card heel on Monday Night Raw at least. I would say The Miz. I'll say he could face the likes of The Miz when he's done with LA Knight or face it's hard to choose from because there's so much wrestlers and they're not really using them much, only just Gunther being the most dominant heel champion. Or even face Drew McIntyre. Like, it'll be like when he faced Cedric Alexander all over again. Like, when Cedric oversells those Claymore kicks, he could do the same with him doing like a corkscrew spinning, slamming, falling when he's falling in the air with a Claymore. Like, he could face Drew McIntyre, like with him turning back into the dark side as a heel. But yeah, y'all let me know about the status of Wesley down in the comments below. This is where we had a girl in a hoodie attacking Blair Davenport, most likely giving her a taste of her own medicine for costing her a match against Thea Hill last week. And it was none other than Gigi Dolan, the girl in the hoodie. And then she started hitting her with strikes into her left hand, like, And then this is where security had to break things up with the two women but mostly Gigi Dolan was bringing more damages to what's her name, to Blair Davenport. It is where we finally have the match with Becky Lynch, which Vic Joseph was reminding everybody that Becky Lynch is a former Raw Women's, SmackDown Women's, and Women's Tag Team Champion, but she is yet to win the NXT Women's Champion. She hit her with a leg drop with her stand, and she kicked out of that. No, missile drop kick. That's what it was. She hit her with a missile drop kick right to her jaw, like where she got the 1-2 kick out. This is where she hits her with a power bomb. She tried to go for a 1 and a 2, but Becky kicked out at a 2.8 second count. I would say a pop-out spinebuster bomb majig, yeah. And then this is where Becky went to put her in the corner, Tina in the turnbuckle. This is where she tried to go for a move, but she countered it. She tried to attack her, but she flipped over the ropes into the hardest part of the ring apron. She hot shotted her. She go up to the top rope, but Becky Lynch catches her right with a forearm. This is where Becky Lynch started hitting her with a right hand repeatedly, and then Vic Joseph said even if she does win, she could go to Monday Night Raw because she's still currently on Raw, and she could win and she could be NXT Women's Champion even while being on Raw. But I still think that she should be exclusively on NXT as when she's that championship. Like, as much as I think Dominic is too, but he's partially doing He's doing it evenly, like he's on Raw and NXT. But anyways, but this is when she knocks her out of the top, off the top rope. This is where Tiffany Stratton hits the most perfectionately beautiful swanton bomb, like more than I've seen with Kevin Owens and Jeff Hardy, which I believe, but Jeff Hardy does most of the times still successfully does a perfectionist swanton bomb, even at the age of 46, and same with Kevin Owens, like with him using it like if it's a signature move, like looks pretty perfectly executed when you see him do the move. And then we saw her try to pin Becky Lynch after she does the move, but she only got another 2.8 second count. This is where she tried to go for the Green Bay plunge. This is where Becky Lynch counters it. This is where she kicks her in the midsection. This is where she hits her with a double underhook suplex side, and then she got her in an arm lock. She got her in an arm bar, which looked like she was trying to go for her disarmer, but Tiffany Stratton looked like she was about to tap out, but she had a fist. If her hand was going like this, even if she was accidentally tapping, like that would confirm her losing because she tapped. But she put her hand up trying to punch on her leg, which was the smartest move that she could have done into this match. This is where she was trying to continue doing the arm lock. This is where Tiffany Stratton caught her into a powerbomb position, but Becky Lynch countered into a Hurricane Rana. This is where she tried to go for the roll up 1-2, but she kicked out. This is where Tiffany Stratton Irish Whip right to the ropes, throw it first. This is where she hit her with a hip attack right on the back of her head. This is where Tiffany Stratton hit her with a double foot stomp. She tried to go for a 1. She tried to pin 1 and the 2, but she only got a 2.999. And then Vic Joseph, also reminded everybody that this was the main event, and this is the most entertaining main event. And I have to agree, this was really good. I thought I was watching the main roster. I was watching Monday Night Raw, if they were having this match on Raw rather than being on the yellow and white, or the white and yellow brand, I should say. And then this is where she tried to steal and move the manhandle slam, but she moved her right to the corner of the Tina the turnbuckle. This is where she Irish whipped right in the corner. This is where she reversed her into the corner. She kicked her right in the face. This is where she tried to go for a double dip moonsault out, but Becky Lynch counters right into a Russian leg sweep. This is where they tried to get her a 1. They got to give her a 2, but it only gave her a 2.2 count. This is where they took it on the outside. This is where Tiffany Stratton threw Becky Lynch right into Simba the Steel Steps. This is where she started moving the timekeeper's area, moving everything in the timekeeper right on the announce table. This is where she tried to put on the top. This is where, or not put on top. This is where she tried to buckle bomb or sit out power bomb her right, or not sit out. I was say just a power bomb right into the Allen announce table, trying to take a page out of Von Wagner's playbook. And then, I'm not sure if that's some kind of tribute, but this is when Becky Lynch started the counter into her move. This is where she kicks her right off on the barricade. I was like, whoa, she totally clearly oversold that. Because if she was selling that legitimately, she would have landed right onto the concrete floor, rather than trying to be onto Allen the announce table. She clearly gave herself a way of sticking to the script and what they rehearsed into this match. Which I think this match by itself alone gets 5 stars, which I'm gonna talk more about that in just a minute. And this is where Becky Lynch hits her with a leg drop, a sit-out leg drop right off barricade, right through Allen the announce table. And I was surprised that it didn't explode or collapse of some sort, because it looked like a move that would, even for them being lightweighted, despite being lightweighted, it still would have collapsed somehow, some way. And I was very surprised that it didn't do so. But Becky Lynch improvised. She was like, no matter. She's going to throw it back in the ring. She's going to try again with the leg drop. She did so. but the referee hit one, the referee hit two, and how you can it looked like even for being a side move that she would do on the side, it looked like she was about to win with the 999s, which are one away from being a 3. Looked like she could have been NXT Women's Championship from that maneuver, but she's like, oh well, like I'm just gonna have to hit my other move, which is the disarmer. She had it locked in. This is where Tiffany Stratton didn't know where to go at the time. This is where she's like saying like no. Here's where she pulled back her arm. And this is where she broke free, like amazingly. She grabbed onto the bottom rope for the rope break. This is where she lifts her up into a one-handed power bomb in a reverse position. It looked like she nearly threw Tiffany out with the head scissors, but she threw her out, and she landed right onto the hardest part of the ring apron. This is where Tiffany Stratton tried to spear her. This is where Becky Lynch caught her with a side kick and hit her with a roundhouse kick. This is where Becky Lynch tried to go up to the top rope. She tried to go for the somersault kick, but or leg drop, I should say. She rolled out of it. This is where Tiffany Stratton caught her into a power bomb. A sit-out power bomb. She finally succeeded to do the move, but she only got a 2. And you would think if anybody thought that Tiffany Stratton was going to retain tonight, you would thought that this would be it. Even though her finishing move is the diving corkscrew, the corkscrew splash, and that double dip moonsault, but you would probably thought from doing this power bomb, this was going to be it, and there will be no title reign for Becky Lynch, but that did not happen at all because Becky Lynch kicked out of the 2.9999999 1.1 away from being 3. And then Booker T complimented Tiffany Stratton like she's next level, like keeping up with the man, like he was describing that she's ready for the main roster, which I would simply agree about this, but watching this match. Like, she looked like a main roster superstar, even though she haven't made her proper main roster debut as having her main roster debut match. And then the fans were even invested into this match. They were chanting, "This was awesome," the whole time. They're like, "This is awesome!" Clap, 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 which was very awesome. That's why I would give it 5 stars into the night. Like, this deserved 5 stars alone. And this is where she tried to hit the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the Becky Lynch, when she countered a move, attack move from Becky Lynch, but Becky Lynch kicked out of it. This is that's what the move was. Becky Lynch was trying to hit the manhandle slam. She rolled out of it into the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, surprise, to kick out of 2. And then this is when Tiffany Stratton hit her with the Green Bay plunge, and soon after trying to hit her with a double dip moonsault, but Becky Lynch moved out of the way. She finally caught her with the manhandle slam. I was like, "Dip, this is it." I was thinking like whoever hits their next finish, whoever hits their finishing move, whoever next hit their finishing move is definitely going to win this match and walk out as the NXT Women's Championship. And I guess I was right, but I was also right about my prediction before I even said that. Because when she moved, Becky Lynch moved out of the way, she flipped and go double flip. Tiffany Stratton, Becky Lynch caught her in a moment, hit her with the manhandle slam. She got her with a 1, and you got her with a 2, and what you could not believe in shock. This was the biggest shock of the night. She got the 3, and now she's the new NXT Women's Champion. A championship that she has yet to win from the past 10 years of being in WWE. She finally achieved that goal, and she's finally the fourth horsewoman to win the NXT Women's Championship. Even though she had to go back to NXT to win it, but this is like probably the next biggest. This is the next biggest achievement that Becky Lynch reached up to. Like it reached up to high expectations, if not higher. And this was a really great show. And then they were showing out the fireworks. I believe they should have had everybody came out of the locker room to celebrate Becky Lynch, but it seems like not everybody's a fan of Becky Lynch winning the NXT Championship in any way of some sort. But I think this was a great idea because this could give somebody something for Becky Lynch to do. This could also she could also have add a championship into her accolade, and she could be known as the next Grand Slam champion, like alongside with the likes of Bayley or should I say Tropicana and Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and you name it, and much more. Like, she did it all. Becky Lynch won all the championships, like the Raw, SmackDown, Women's Tag Team Championship, and even the NXT Women's Championship. She finally done it. Like, she is championship. And what do you think? What's next for her as the black and yellow, or not black, white and yellow strap championship, or should I say the white strap and the yellow gold and the splashing colored championship? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And I would say I would give tonight's NXT perhaps, I would say 4.5 stars, because for being 4.5 out of 5 overall, because for bringing on great shows, including the number one contenders matches, as well as the bizarre twist of Miles Bourne, even though that was like a mid-card tag, a 6-man tag match, that he was the manipulating mastermind this whole time of teaming with Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey and what's his name, Damon Kemp, by bamboozling Fallon Henley and Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs on what the teaming with them and create a new alliance with making it a quartet. But anyways, and also that Wesley versus Ilya Dragunov was really good, and also the Creed brothers versus Idris Enough and Malik Blade was really good. Like, yeah, pretty much good. But I'll say the top matches, the first match of the night was clearly Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton in the number one contenders match for the NXT Championship. What's his name? Ilya Dragunov against Wesley, which is going to be sad to not see Wesley in NXT again, whether if he's going to be called up to the main roster or not. We're going to probably figure out that news as soon as tomorrow morning or afternoon when we hear the wrestling news on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from, or wrestling news video from, which I watch, like the likes of WrestleMania, Slap Rock, Wrestle Hub, sometimes What Culture Wrestling's wrestling news. Perhaps I should watch more of it. I only watch when it's the most hottest news in professional wrestling right now, or in the wrestling internet community right now, not professional, but overall in all kinds of wrestling community. But yeah, how y'all rate NXT tonight? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And also, if you like this video, make sure to hit the big thumbs up button, and then comment down below, and then comment down below, and then click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. And I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin. This is the 32nd episode of the SNA podcast, and we'll have with the NXT review part 5, and we will have a AEW Dynamite part 5 video tomorrow night around the same time, and it will be the 33rd episode of the SNA podcast of AEW Dynamite part 5. Make sure y'all check that out. And I hope y'all have a great night, and I'll see you then. Peace out. And Super Ninja Austin, the Assassin, out. Oh, shoot.